All right, welcome back to Weekly Takes. It's been a few weeks since I put out an episode, but I had been working on some things behind the scenes. I have a new streaming schedule and content schedule, and a new look for all of my socials across YouTube, Twitch, Instagram, Twitter, and Kick. Something new I hope to do down the road as well. Basically, I needed to do a lot of reorganizing and cleaning around my place and kind of get, I call it studio, but really it's just my desk, but my little studio area set up so that I could have this be more consistent and something that I just am ready to come home from work or my day off and just kind of jump into and make content or start streaming. So right away, YouTube on Tuesday nights. Times are going to vary for all of these just because, work, life, other things, but it will be consistently on these nights. Tuesday nights will be a just chatting / service industry night stream. Basically, the idea there is I'm going to be exploring subreddits dealing with the restaurant business because that's what I'm familiar with. There is one in particular, Server Life, that if I recall, gets most of its major updates on Tuesday nights. They kind of open it up for the stories of the week, essentially. So that will be a big one, along with individual brands, in particular ones that I have worked for, so I'm familiar with, and then the restaurant subreddits in general. Just kind of whatever's there, exploring those, critiquing, laughing, and just enjoying those stories in general, and just giving my feedback on them as well. So that'll be like the primary subject matter for the Tuesday night stream on YouTube, and it'll also just be like a chatting stream. So if you join in there, you get a little insight into what goes on in the service industry. If you are a person who works in the service industry, the restaurant business at all, then hopefully it'll be a place that you'll enjoy coming to and hearing those stories and my feedback and just conversing about that stuff in general. Just have a conversation about it. Wednesday nights on Twitch, I'm going to be calling Warzone Wednesdays, or wait, Wednesday night Warzone? What did I decide on? I think I decided Warzone Wednesday, but now I don't know. I'll have to check. But anyways, that'll be on Twitch. Same thing, Wednesday nights. This is a work night for me, so it will potentially be a little bit later in the evening after I've gotten home and settled in. My hope is, just like Tuesday nights, 8 to 9-ish would be the primary start time. But again, it's flexible. If I can get on a little bit earlier and have a longer stream, then I'll do that. If I can't get on as early, I still will be there, but possibly just a little bit later. But the hope is to do 1.5 to 2 hours of Warzone every Wednesday night on Twitch. Twitch will be like primarily a gaming outlet. And occasionally other games if I'm in the mood, or if I play some Warzone for an hour or so and I'm like, you know what, I want to play Monster Hunter or this, or maybe just chill and play Balatro or something like that, that'll be where that happens. So Wednesday nights on Twitch will be Warzone primarily, but gaming in general. Down the road, as I figure out what I want to do with it, Kick will also be a part of this. I feel like Kick will be kind of a variety / chatting type stream. That will be just chatting, but I have some ideas just to kind of float them out there. I have some ideas of getting a webcam to do like a desk cam, so that if I want to chill and build Lego or open Pokemon cards or, just various other things like that, play a game or something, then that will be on Kick. It'll be like a variety stream, some sort of chatting, and potentially, like I said, being able to do something active that people can actually see and talk about and enjoy. So my idea there is possibly Saturday nights, possibly a little bit later stream. That's a work night. Well, it's not a work night. It's a day that I work and then I'm off. My weekend starts Saturday night. So I would be chilling and doing that. But that's a little bit down the road, but Kick is part of my roadmap for the channel. As always, weekly takes will be Sunday evenings as well. That will be a lot more consistent. That's what this is about right here. So that is kind of the roadmap for streaming and weekly takes. I will also be doing, longer form edited video essays as well, but I want to be able to take my time and make sure I do those the way I want to do them. So the rest of this content and streaming will fill the gaps between that and give me just consistent activity going forward. So check that out across all of my channels and socials: YouTube, Twitch, Kick, Instagram, and Twitter. All the same thing, Rival Indigo. And I also have a link tree that's set up for all that as well to check out. So see you when we see you. Communities are weird to me, in particular online communities, because in real life it's completely different. I work at a very social, active job. If you follow my channel or socials, I work in the service industry, and you run into a wide variety of different opinions and viewpoints about many, many different things. Easy one to talk about here is sports. Almost all of the guys that I work with, and a couple of the girls, but mostly the guys, we're the ones that talk about it a lot, especially here in the off season with football. We're all talking about combine and potential draft prospects and team needs and what team did this in free agency, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Draft is like a month away, so that's the big thing. And then there's other stuff going on right now. There's like March Madness. I'm not super invested in that, but still, we will talk about these things. And when you've got a group of 4 or 5 different guys at various times sharing their thoughts on things, you're gonna have disagreement. But at the same time, you'll sit and you'll discuss things with people and give a viewpoint and your actual logic and reasoning, and people might decide that they either agree with you or at the very least that they understand where you're coming from. And you can kind of just roll with that and move on and sharpen your ideas and possibly get other people on board with you at the same time. Real life communities are very different. However, even there, I used to, be a part of what you would call the community when it came to trading card games and playing tabletop games in person, in particular Magic the Gathering. But this whole concept it's fun to be able to have other people to enjoy things with, discuss things with, and share them, right? Whether it's an activity in person or whether it's viewpoints about things or a shared rooting for or commonality when it comes to like sports, etc. So I just find in general, I'm not a huge fan of communities, in particular online. And it's not because I don't like to discuss things, and it's not because I can't deal with disagreement. Like I said, do that all the time. But when you think there's something you're really into and you're excited to share that with other people, say as a fan of the Jacksonville Jaguars in the NFL, or various movie genres or video game series like Halo. We'll take Halo, for instance. It is very easy to realize how stupid so many people are about that thing. And it can actually lead to you just having little to no interest at all in talking about it with other people, online in particular. As a fan of the Jacksonville Jaguars, I want to root for this franchise and, support the fan base and talk about it with other people who are also into this team. It's awesome to build a community around something like that. And it's probably a lot more fun when you go do it in person, whether that's tailgating or watching a game at the sports bar or going to games at the stadium. But when you're discussing them online on social media, it's like it exposes people that know very little or don't spend very much time investing thought into why they think something. So you have disagreements about things and you just realize how dumb so many people are about a subject. If you want to talk about something besides sports, for instance, Halo in video games, Xbox or whatever it is, Pokemon. I find I will go to the internet thinking I'm going to find other people that have good opinions or at least thought about their opinions and why, and that it makes sense that they have them. But then you'll get there and you'll realize in Halo, I think the franchise should be done. The Halo franchise should be done, if not now, then 3 games ago. It could have ended after the campaign of Halo 4. I'm not saying anything about multiplayer, but the campaign of Halo 4 was excellent. The story should have ended there. The story of Chief and Cortana, which is basically what Halo is about, was wrapped. It was finished. We kind of had all the strings tied up. We kind of knew what was up with them and where they were going. It should have been done. And then Xbox should have moved on to creating a brand new franchise to be iconic and letting Halo rest on its laurels and be something to fondly remember in the past. People don't understand this concept that everything should have a beginning, middle, and end, that all good things must come to an end. Or, as is said in The Dark Knight, you either die a hero or live long enough to see yourself become the villain. And that's the same thing with every property and franchise. If it goes too long, it is going to become bad. Because no matter what, the story should end at some point. If it goes beyond a certain point, it's going to become just a money thing. And no matter what the intentions of those are who are working on it, it will never be as good as it should be. So that's my viewpoint on Halo, and not many people want to share that viewpoint. And it kind of shows me how shallow the thinking is from a lot of people involved in things. They just want more things called that thing. So communities are not my favorite thing on the internet, and that's why you won't see me involved in many of them. And maybe that limits me in some ways. There are definitely people I'd like to work with and definitely people I'd like to engage with. But I feel like communities often lead to that disconnect right there where I'm like, God, these people are dumb. I really wouldn't mind getting into some more outdoor activities this year. I'm really big into fitness, at least, for my lifestyle, like the time I have available and the things I want to do. I feel like I spend a good amount of time on it, at least 7 hours a week, possibly more between Sunday, Monday, and Tuesday, and the way that I do my workouts throughout the week. So I've never been like a big outdoorsy person, but the more that I get fit and healthy, the more like I want to go do something with it. And I'm not talking about going and trying to climb a mountain or something like that, but here in Florida, we have a lot of really great outdoor opportunities, whether it's just to go walk a trail or go swimming, kayaking, fishing. Like, there's just so many things available. And since I moved back here, I haven't actually engaged in a lot of them. I've gone kayaking a couple times, and I think that's like the biggest one for me. It's a lot of fun. It's good exercise. You're out on the water. You get to see cool things. It's something easily done with someone else that they aren't likely to find boring, like fishing. And fishing is so easy to do on your own. It would be cool to have someone to do it with and occasionally have a chat with or whatever, but it's a quiet thing. I feel like kayaking, at least in my experience, is something that's very fun to do with another person or persons. So, but yeah, just in general, this year, there's Welcome to Rockville coming up in May, something I definitely am planning to go to the day that Linkin Park performs. But in general, like I said, as I've become more active and fit, I kind of just feel the urge to do something with that. I'm not a person who's really big into camping and all that kind of stuff in general, but that doesn't mean there's not something you can go do for a good afternoon or a day. And I feel like it would probably be good for everyone to attempt that on some level. Just get outside more, get out and do a little bit more out in your yard, pick up a project. I actually have like a bed, or not, it's not actually a bed, but like the area in front of my place, I've always wanted to go out there and kind of like dig up, like till up a little bit, put some soil down, and maybe actually put some plants in, some freaking flowers would be nice. Spruce it up a little. But, just in general, getting outdoors, doing a little bit more, and there's so many activities available here that there's very little excuse because they don't cost a whole lot. So I think this summer, we're not even to spring yet. This spring and summer, oh yeah, we did spring forward. Never mind. But this spring and summer would be a really great opportunity, just because I haven't done so many things in years, to get out and do a little bit more outdoors, have fun. So just a little goal of mine. And I don't know, I would encourage anybody else who hasn't been out to doing these activities, if you have them around you, usually they're not as expensive and there's not a barrier of entry like you might think there is. A lot of the things that keeps people from going out and doing these things is in their own head, right? There's national parks, state parks. There's usually some sort of activities that are attached to that, whether it's floating a river, just going and having a little barbecue or picnic or something. Just in general, it's really easy to just get out and like walk somewhere. So let's do it.